everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jarvis and I'm here today to present an EDH deck tech for Isu the Abominable. But before we get into the deck tech, I just want to remind you to please like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And also, if you want to go and follow me on any of my other socials, including Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, please follow the link tree in the description of the video, as well as join my Discord by following that link tree. But let's get into this. Isu is a legendary snow creature Yeti that costs 3 and 2 blue. It is a 5/5 that has the following abilities. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play snow lands and cast snow spells from the top of your library. And whenever another snow permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay a green, a white, or a blue. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Isu the Abominable. Because of this, Isu is considered a Bant commander. And with Isu caring so much about snowlands and snow spells, there's snow business like snow business. We are very heavy on the snow theme here. We have Arkham's Astrolabe, which costs a single snow mana, that when it enters, you draw a card, and you can pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color, so you can do a little filtering. Ascended Spirit is a single blue that has a level up mechanic that you spend a snow mana to level it up. It is a 1/1 spirit. When you pay 2 snow mana, it becomes a 2/3 spirit warrior. 3 snow mana. It has to be the spirit warrior first, but once it is a warrior, you can pay this 3 snow mana. It becomes a spirit warrior angel that has a flying counter and has base power toughness of 4/4. And once it's an angel, you can pay 4 snow mana to go and put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and it gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Avalanche Caller is 1 in blue, a human wizard that has pay 2 to make target snowland you control become a 4/4 elemental creature with hexproof and haste until end of turn. It's still land. Bergstrider is 4 in a blue, giant wizard that when it enters, tap target artifact or a creature an opponent controls. And if you use snow mana to cast Bergstrider, that permanent doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Blessing of Frost is 3 in a blue. It's a snow sorcery. They can distribute X +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures you control, where X is the amount of snow mana spent to cast a spell, and then draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. So you could go and distribute up to 4 +1/+1 counters, and depending on how large your creatures are, you could draw a card. If you have your commander out, you're guaranteed to draw at least 1. Blizzard Brawl is a single green, where you can choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control, and they fight. And if you control 3 or more snow permanents, the creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible. Blizzard Strix is 4 in a blue, has flash and flying, and when it enters the battlefield, if you control another snow permanent, you can exile target permanent other than Blizzard Strix and bring it back under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Boreal Druid is a single green. You can tap it for 1 colorless mana. Boreal Outrider is 2 in a green, and whenever you cast a creature spell, if snow mana of any of that spell's colors was spent to cast it, that creature enters that battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. What that means is if your spell is a green spell, so say it's 2 in a green, for your green mana, you have to spend snow green mana, and then it can enter with a +1/+1 counter. Centaur Omen Reader, as long as it is tapped, creature spells you play cost 2 less to play. And we are playing lots of creatures in this deck, about 30 of them. Chiller Pillar is 3 in a blue. It is an insect that has monstrosity too. It's 4 snow. And as long as it's monstrous, it has flying. Cold Steel Heart is 2 generic. It comes into play tapped. And when it comes into play, you choose a color. And you add 1 mana of the chosen color to your mana pool. And it makes snow mana. Diamond Fairy is 2 green, white, blue. Flying, and for 1 in a snow creatures control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Frost Augur is a single blue. For a snow mana and tapping it, you can look at the top card of your library. If it's a snow card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. Where this is really good is, say it's a land on top and you've already played your land for turn, you can clear that away and look at the next card to play with Isu. Frost Peak Yeti is 3 in a blue. For 1 in a color, 1 in a snow mana, it can't be blocked this turn. Glacial Revelation, while not a snow spell, it lets you get snow permanents to your hand. It's a 2 and a green, and you reveal the top 6 cards of your library. You may put any number of snow permanent cards from among them in your hand. The rest go in your graveyard. Glittering Frost is 2 and a green. It's an enchantment aura that you can enchant land. That land then becomes a snow land, and whenever enchanted land is tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. Raven Lore is 3 blue. Scry X, where X is the amount of colorless spent to cast a spell, then draw 3 cards. So you can scry up to 5 and then draw 3. Ice Fang Kotal is a green and a blue, flash flying. When it enters, you draw a card, and it has Death Touch as long as you control at least 3 other snow permanents. Ice High Troll, 2 and a green, and for 2 snow, you could go and give it +2/+0 and indestructible until end of turn, and then tap it. Into the North, yet again, not a snow spell, it gets you snow permanents. For 1 and a green, search your library for a snow land card and put it into the battlefield tapped. And where this is important is just any snow land, so you can get any of the snow duels from Kaldheim. Merit Lage's Slumber, 1 and a blue, legendary snow enchantment. Whenever it or another snow permanent enters the battlefield under your control, you scry 1. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 10 or more snow permanents, you could sacrifice, well, you do sacrifice it, and if you do, you create a 20/20 Merit Lage with blind and indestructible. Morite of the Frost is 2 green blue with Changeling. When it enters the battlefield, it enters as a copy of any permanent you control, except it's legendary and snow in addition to its other types. And if it's a creature, it enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters and has Changeling. Oran Frostfang is 3 green. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Oran Viper is 1 green. Whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, destroy that creature at the end of combat. And whenever Oran Viper deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. Pilfering Hawk is 1 and a blue, flying, and for a snow mana and tapping it, you can draw a card, then discard a card. Replicating Ring is 3 colorless mana, or 3 generic mana, and you can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Then if you have it out on the battlefield for a very long time, you could go and once it gets to 8 counters, you could go and remove all of them and create 8 colorless snow artifact tokens named Replicating Ring that do the same thing as the main version of it does. Rime Tender is 1 and a green. You could tap it to untap another target snow permanent. Sculptor of Winter is 1 and a green. You could tap it to untap target snow land. Search for Glory is 2 and a white, and it lets you search your library for a snow permanent, a legendary card, or a saga card. If you put it into your hand and you gain 1 life for each snow mana spent to cast a spell. Spirit of the Alder Guard is 3 and a green. When you enter the battlefield, search your library for a snow land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And then it gets +1/+0 for each other snow permanent you control. Something I want to go and mention about the last 2 cards. Since it's a snow permanent for either one of them, well, a snow permanent or a snow land, you get something like Dark Depths because that is a snow land. The 3 Seasons is a green and a blue. It's yet again not a snow permanent, but it lets you get back snow permanents. Mill 3 cards, return up to 2 target snow permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand, or choose 3 cards in each graveyard. This is a saga, so it's 1, 2, then 3. Choose 3 cards in each graveyard. Their owners shuffle those cards into their libraries. And finally, mentioning Dark Depths, we did put the Dark Depths combo in here. That Dark Depths itself is a legendary snow land that enters with 10 ice counters on it, and you have to pay 3 mana to remove an ice counter from it. And when it has no ice counters, it becomes that same Merit Lage that the Merit Lage's Slumber creates. But if you pair it with Thespian Stage, you can make Thespian Stage a copy of Dark Depths, and you have to sacrifice one of them. And when that happens, that happens, Thespian Stage then has no ice counters on it. You then sacrifice it, and you get that 20/20 as well. Now that we're done with snow permanents, we have the basics, ramp and card draw, what every deck needs to be successful. Arcane Signet, Dread Elysian Grove is 2 and a green, lets you play an additional land each turn, and it fixes your mana by making every land you control every other land type. Farseek is 1 and a green, can get you a plains, island, swamp, or mountain. So yet again, it can get those dual lands, whether it's snow duals or shock lands. Growth Spiral, green and a blue, draw a card, and you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Nature's Lore is 1 and a green. Search your library for a forest card and put that card onto the battlefield. Yet again, doesn't say basic, so you can go and get a dual land. Noble Hierarch, 1 green, exalt it, and it can tap for green, white, or blue. Risky Study is 2 and a blue. It's everyone's favorite card draw enchantment. Sakura Tribe Elder is 1 and a green. Steve, you can sack it and get a basic land. Smothering Tide, everyone's favorite treasure generating enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they have to pay 2 or you get a treasure. Soul Ring, 3 visits, 1 and a green. Search for a forest card and put it onto the battlefield. Yet again, those dual lands, dual lands, dual lands. Vega the Watcher, 1 white blue, flying, and whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, draw a card. Since you're casting spells from the top of your library, they will go and count towards Vega's ability to draw cards. And then, good stuff. So I started to like good stuff. This is where we're putting interaction, protection, and any cards that don't fit the other categories we've went over. Austere Command, 4 and 2 white. Choose to destroy all artifacts, all enchantments, all creatures with mana value 3 or less, and all creatures with mana value 4 or greater. Beast Within, 2 and a green. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green beast creature token. Broker's Ascendancy, green, white, blue. I have an unnatural affinity for this card. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. It buffs your team every turn. Turn after turn after turn. Dovin's Veto, white, blue. Can't be countered, but it counters a target non-creature spell. Eladamri's Call, blue and a white. Search your library for a creature card, reveal that card, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. Eternal Witness, 1 green green. When it enters, you return a target card from your graveyard to your hand. Farewell, the best board wipe in all of Commander. 4 white white. Choose 1 or more. Exile all artifacts, all creatures, all enchantments, or all graveyards. Generous Gift is 2 and a white. Destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elfin creature token. Lightning Greaves, for 2 mana, gives your creature haste and shroud for an equip cost of 0. Mystic Reflection is my favorite commander removal spell. It's 1 and a blue, and you choose target non-legendary creature. The next time 1 or more creatures or planeswalker enter the battlefield this turn, they enter as copies of the chosen creature and as foretell for a blue. Why I love this card is when someone goes to cast their commander, you target a non-legendary creature, and then their commander enters as a copy of that creature instead of their commander, making it that what they built their deck around is essentially useless. Nature's Claim is a single blue. Destroy target artifact or enchantment, its controller gains 4 life. Pongify, single blue. Destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. Its controller creates a 3/3 green ape creature token. Storvald, Frost Giant Jarl. So it does have some snow on there, but it's 4 green, white, blue. Ward 3. Other creatures you control have Ward 3, protecting all of them. And when it enters the battlefield or attacks, target creature has base power and toughness 7/7 until end of turn, or target creature has base power and toughness 1/1 until end of turn. Swiftfoot Boots, 2 generic. Equip creature has Hexproof Haste and equip cost of 1. Swords to Plowshares, 1 white. Exile target creature, its controller gains life equal to its power. Teferi's Protection, 2 and a white. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, and you exile it. Wash Away. It's a single blue. Cleave cost of 1 blue blue. If you cleave it, you counter any spell. Otherwise, if you don't cleave it, you counter any spell that wasn't cast from its owner in his hand. So this says counter target commander. That is all the cards we have for this deck other than the lands. We're playing 35 lands in this deck, which with all the ramp that we have in here, that should be plenty to go and get you to where you need to be. what changes would you make to this deck? Would you go and play more mana rocks? Would you play less interaction? Are there some of those slow creatures that just aren't good enough for you? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, everyone, have a good one.